Today's commandment is thou shalt save sex for later.
Since we're going to separate colleges and we're not ready to be engaged, I wanted to ask if you'd be engaged to engage in purity with me.
I'd be honored to be engaged to engage in purity with you.
And while we're apart, these purity rings will be a semi-binding reminder of our limited commitment to each other.
That's confusing, but cute, but also really dumb. When temptation hits, what are those rings gonna do?
They're a symbol of our...
This is a symbol, honey. Those are finger decoration.
Wait!
What you need is an ironclad chastity safeguard, what we like to call the Purity Ring 3000. Symbols and promises are great if you're a cartoon monkey living in a coloring book in the 1600s. But today, in the real world, what you need is something with a little more oomph. The Purity Ring 3000 isn't just a ring. It's a fully automated personal chastity defense system. It comes embedded with a GPS tracker that lets someone keep tabs on you at all times.
She's on the move.
It's 9 a.m. She's probably on her way to class.
No time. Go, 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 go.
It is also preloaded with abstinensis, proprietary scientifically formulated scent that is automatically emitted if too many pheromones of the opposite sex are detected in the air.
It's not me. It's the purity ring.
Nothing pure about that.
When the ring detects an increase in heart rate due to inappropriate desire, it triggers an ear-piercing alarm and blinding strobe light. And if you're lecherous enough to actually make physical contact, the Purity Ring 3000 immediately kills the nearest fuzzy animal.
Poor little squirrel.
What the squirrel
Is
do?
this what you wanted? And if things really get bad, the
And
Purity
then kill
Ring
you for
3000
the
kicks into full chastity lockdown mode, projecting a pre-recorded image of your mother staring at you in disappointment. Try compromising your virtue with dear old mom looking back at you. Didn't think so. Why leave your honor and integrity to chance?
I found one.
Don't trust your virtue to a silly old-fashioned piece of scrap metal. Entrust it to the Purity Ring 3000. Promises are nice, boundaries are great. But if you really want to remain virtuous, you need a ring that shoots lasers. The Purity Ring 3000. Not meant as a replacement to actual self-control, boundaries, and good decision-making.
Man, I need one of them for school.
You'd hand it out to friends, wouldn't you?
Probably not.
That's kind of funny. Actually, what really controls you?
I don't know what to think about that.
Well, yourself. You're the one who should be in control. True?
I'm talking about that video.
That
Poor little
video?
squirrel.
You think you need a ring like that?
No, I'm good.
You're
Just
good?
go by people I walk in the hallway.
I'll stick with the
Don't
old
know.
fashioned.
You'll stick with the old-fashioned one.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about sex today, we're going to talk about the sexual transformation. And in our country, there was a sexual revolution, but there's many lies about it. In the 60s, singles were liberated to do it. And they say everybody's doing it. It's okay. The hippie generation. 60s to 70s, the feel-good era. So they go through the 60s and 70s, liberated and feeling good, and what happens? The 80s come along. STD, HPV, HIV appeared. Suddenly, free sex had a steep price. So how do we respond to that? Well, in the 90s, we have a sexual innovation. Condoms would save you from disease. Besides, the U.S. Surgeon General said telling teens and singles to wait for marriage is impossible, stupid, and maybe even criminal. That's what our U.S. Surgeon General said. Is that not crazy?
Yeah.
Then we fast forward to the new millennium. Our society, media, etc., is all about sexual images, expressions, and girls gone wild. You can't turn to a TV show without sex being displayed one way or the other.
Yeah.
So, many do not have a clue about its true nature. Look at that statistic. 1 in 2 sexually active young people will get an STD by the age of 25. And most of them won't even know they have it. That's pretty sad, isn't it?
Yes.
Here's the reality. God created sex. And when you add God and sex, people don't like to talk about God with sex, do they?
Nope.
But let's look at God's plan. It's simple. Wait until you get married. That's pretty simple, isn't it? So, should you listen to society who says have sex but use protection?
No.
Or do you listen to God and the church? Wait until you get married.
God.
So here's society's take on it. Take a free condom, help fight AIDS. And here's the churches and God's take on it. Wait till you're married. That was pretty simple, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that brings us to the question, why are so many singles having sex? Well, there's 7 blunders of the sexual world. And each one of these will pop up individually on a screen by themselves. But the first one is, all you need is a condom. You're good. You've got to have it. Sex equals intimacy. If you're in love, it's okay. You must sample the goods. It's just a physical thing. Everybody's
Yeah,
doing
until a
it.
baby comes along.
Do what?
I said, yeah, until a baby comes along.
Until a baby comes along. You are right.
There's a girl in my grade that's pregnant.
And how old is she?
13.
13. That's pretty sad.
And everybody's calling her names and everything.
Everybody's calling her names. She just got caught. Some of the others didn't.
Mm-hmm. That's what Mom said too.
Yeah.
Because she punched a kid in the face for calling her a name.
Yeah. And that's pretty sad. And that's the sad thing about it. There's a lot more kids having sex than should be, and their kids having kids. And then they're calling names to the ones who are getting caught, not to the ones who are not getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
I got it, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're good.
So let's look at blunder number 1. All you need is a condom. Did you know that condoms fail at least 10% of the time? Condoms are not fully effective against STDs. The Center of Disease Control and Prevention reports that condoms are only shown to reduce the transmission of HPV, the virus that leads to cervical cancer, by 70%. The surest way to avoid STD and pregnancy is to abstain from sexual intercourse or be in a monogamous marriage relationship. And here's the things that condoms don't protect. They don't protect your heart, mind, and soul from the emotional, mental, and spiritual burns left by sex. And as I was making this slideshow, look at that picture. Free condoms. The last one said, help prevent HIV. This one says, STD clinic. Take control. So what is that saying about condoms?
Does that not help you?
They're not helping you. Blunder number 2. You just have to have it. Control your emotions or your emotions will control you. Now, people say you just have to have it. They can't control themselves. Well, contrary to popular belief, your sex organs do not control you. I want you to think about this. What if you were in the middle of passion with the most attractive person on the earth, and they stop for just a moment and they say, oh, by the way, I have AIDS. Do you think you could control yourself then?
No.
No, you couldn't
No.
control yourself?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was about to say.
And then they say, well, it's okay. I have a condom. Do you continue? No, you don't. Of course you don't. All of a sudden, you found control, didn't you? And so what you need to think is, if you're in the heat of passion, what if this person has AIDS and they're not telling me? What if this person has another STD and they're not telling me? The truth of the matter is, you've had control all along. And it's a choice if you use it or not. But when you think of it in that perspective, it kind of helps you have control, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Which brings us to blunder number 3.
You're good.
Okay? Sex equals intimacy. If sex equals intimacy, then all you need to do is you call up a prostitute, have sex, and you're intimate. If that's what sex is. Many times, sex outside of marriage reduces intimacy instead of building it. Often, it's used as a way to try and hold a crumbling relationship together. And guys, you've heard of people getting pregnant to hold on to a relationship. So if it's really intimacy, would they have to do that? No. Real intimacy requires hard work, honesty, mutual self-disclosure, and commitment. And I don't even see sex in that circle, do you?
Mm-mm.
How about when we get to blunder number 4? If you're in love, it's okay. Some believe if you've dated a person for a year or two, it's okay. Often, guys will dangle the marriage carrot. If you love me, you'll do it. We're going to get married anyway, as a means of luring women into bed. True love, though, means an unconditional commitment to an imperfect person. True love is sacrificed at the altar before God and witnesses to sacred vows. And only after marriage can you say, I'm in love, it's okay. You don't need that carrot dangled that, hey, we're going to get married anyway. Because if they truly love you, and you could throw that back, if you truly love me, you'd wait. Because if you love me, you shouldn't have to prove it. They should know you love them, and if they love you, they should wait. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
And then you hear blunder number 5.
You're good.
You must sample the goods. Would you like to be considered a sample? Like, it's like on the,
No.
you know, they have samples at Walmart
Cookies.
on the shelves. Would you want to be considered a shelf sample?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Sex outside of marriage has an allure based on passion and doing something you shouldn't. And we all have wanted to do something, especially that our parents have told us you can't do.
Like hit my brothers.
Like hit your brothers. You want to hit your brothers when you're told you're not to. But see, if that's the case, that's the only thing going for the relationship. You're just doing something you shouldn't. They become accustomed to the rush of forbidden goods outside of marriage. Once married, then sex is boring because they're not doing something they shouldn't be doing. Maximum sex, God's brand of sex, is based on a true relationship intimacy, not on cheap thrills. Real intimacy is based on things that don't seem sexual, like time, respect, honor, commitment, and affection. Because if you have sex and you don't have those things, you don't have a whole lot, do you?
Nope.
When sex is based on these things, it's more fulfilling and exciting than fleeting moments of rebellious sex. Plus, it's guilt-free. You don't have that, I'm just doing it because I'm being rebellious. And then number 6, it's just a physical thing. Well, sex is a physical thing. However, it's also a soul thing. When you have sex, you're connecting your soul with the soul of another person like super glue. And when lovers break apart, a part of each other's soul remains with the other person. And they walk around and you'll hear them say, I just don't feel whole again. I just don't feel this. I just don't feel that. That's because they've left a part of themselves with that other person. Now, they may get a Band-Aid and kind of repair it and move on, but a part of them has been left with somebody that they may not ever have a relationship again ever in the rest of their life. That's kind of sad, isn't it? And then we come to the number 7. Well, everybody else is doing it.
You're good.
Which is all over our media. Girls Gone Wild. We have TV shows about Married at First Sight or
90 Day Fiance.
98 Day Fiance, and kind of like the video we watched last week about The Bachelor.
That was just dumb.
That was dumb, wasn't it? It's okay. Everybody else is doing it. This philosophy has escalated STDs. We have more STDs because everybody else is doing it. We have more broken hearts. We have broken marriages because everybody's doing it. We have unwanted babies. We even have a TV show about girls having babies.
Yeah. What's it called? Teen Moms?
Yeah.
Teen moms, which is crazy. And in the process, we have a whole lot of grief.
And most of the time, the guy that they had it with is not around.
Yeah, most of the time, you're right. So when you're looking at it, look in this picture. What do you think's going on there? Who all's hurt in this picture?
The little girl.
The little girl's hurt, isn't she?
Yeah.
Besides the two that are standing in the background fighting, the little girl's hurt. What about this picture?
She's pregnant.
She's pregnant. Who's going to be hurt in this picture?
The baby.
The baby, the girl, and the guy who is either going to claim it or not.
Most of the time, they don't.
And you're right, a lot of times they don't. And then look at this one. 15 to 24-year-olds account for over half of all new STD infections. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Is it important? It's not only important for you guys to stay pure, but it's for hopefully your future husband to be pure. Now, when we move from that, we're talking about sex on a deeper level. So if you are a Christian, and it's kind of funny to talk about sex and Christian, isn't it? You believe in the concept of moral law and a moral lawgiver. So who would be our moral lawgiver?
God.
God. Because the moral lawgiver, God, clearly states that you should wait until you are married to have sex. You have a couple of choices here. You can either obey it or you can disobey it. Faith involves the practice of delayed gratification. Faith, sex, is the belief that God's plan to wait until marriage will bring maximum results, bring maximum relationships, the best relationship ever. Sex before marriage does bring pleasure, but ultimately, that moment of pleasure fades into lasting pain and guilt. So, as this person said, Nella Maxwell said, faith in God includes faith in His timing. So, do you know why you should save sex for later? Better celibate than sorry. Making the choice to save sex for later is food for your soul. What happens if you binge on junk food?
You get fat.
You get fat. You get miserable, don't you?
Yep.
Well, if you binge on junk food sex, you scatter yourself sexually. You devalue yourself. You make yourself not as valuable as you should be. You devalue the person you're with. You feel cheap. And you're even devaluing sex. But now, if you practice celibacy, you don't reduce yourself to a cheap giveaway like the sample in the store. And you're saying sex is important and you are important. You increase your sense of self-worth and value. You have great emotional and spiritual benefits. And I like this saying here, your body is a temple, not a visitor center. If you're having sex outside of marriage, chances are you're going to have more than one sexual partner. So you've made your body a visitor center. Just come visit. Come and go as you wish. Is that how you want to be seen? And what happens? What do you call the kids at school that do that? Names you don't want to say here? Players. Y'all use the W word, the WH word for the
Yeah.
girls? Yeah.
That's what they were calling Peyton.
That's what they were calling the little girl.
Yeah.
That, and chances are it may have just been one person. How do you save sex for later? It seems impossible, but there are 4 steps to help you adhere to this commandment. What's this picture telling us?
Possible.
It's possible. You can change impossible to possible. So the first step is to celebrate wholeness. There is power in purity. You don't have to worry about the aftertaste of premarital sex. The aftertaste of sex involves feelings of guilt, shame, and doubt. Celebrate what the value you have to yourself. Celebrate the value you have to God and to others. You are in control. And I thought this was interesting. Science admits that a celibate's mental health, and by celibate, do y'all know what I mean by celibate? You're not having sex outside of marriage. You're in control. All right? So a celibate or someone who's not just randomly having sex, mental health is far better, and so is that person's ability to make correct decisions. And if you or someone has done this, the second step would be to receive forgiveness. It's difficult to celebrate wholeness if you need healing in the sexual arena. You can experience forgiveness by confessing how you've messed up to God, receive His forgiveness. In this picture here, this is Jesus talking to the woman at the well. And as He's talking to the woman at the well, He asked her, He said, "Where's your husband?" She said, "I don't have a husband." Jesus said to her, "You've had 4, and the man you're with now is not your husband." He said, "Go and sin no more." By that, He was giving her forgiveness. So do you think Jesus will forgive?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people find it harder to forgive themselves, don't they?
I moved to Queens at the age of 4. When I was about to turn 16, my father passed away. And that really made a mark. It bruised my faith. I wanted to cry. I was so mad at God. I wanted him to see how much I was suffering. My brother, the way he was grieving, he left home. And my mom, she grieved in her own way, and I did mine. I started going to high school, and I met a guy. And he loved me like what I thought love was. What brought us together was music. I was a dancer, he was a dancer, we were a team. He was not a virgin at all, and I was a virgin. When we did get active, I felt dirty every single time because I knew the word. I knew what God had for me, and I knew that I'm not supposed to be having sex before marriage. Everybody's doing it. It's making him happy. It's making me happy to see him happy. But at the end, he still ended up cheating on me. So basically, did I gain anything or did I lose?
You lost.
Yeah.
I had to go to the doctor to get a physical. And one of the nurses asked me, are you sexually active? And I was like, yes, I am. I got checked, and they called me within a week, and they told me, Steph, you really need to come here with your partner. I called him over the phone. I go, are you cheating on me? No, baby, I would never do that to you. What makes you think that? I was like, great, because you have an STD. I was so mad at him, because there was no hiding it. I was a virgin. I became very angry, bitter, violent. I became sick. I lost a lot of weight. I didn't want to talk to anybody. So I just wanted to be locked in a box. I wanted to become numb. I wanted to die. I asked God. I was like, God, if you're there, heal me. Open on my Bible. I put on some CDs. And God helped me little by little to think more about Him and less about my significant other. And I was like, God loves me. God loves me. And I don't care if He doesn't love me, but someone loves me. God really came through. He showed up, and He really healed me.
You think if she had to do it all over again, she would do it differently? Yeah, I think so too. Let's read John 8, 7 through 11. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Now what was happening here was I believe it was the Pharisees brought this woman out they'd caught in adultery, and the penalty of that was to be stoned to death. So they brought her out, and they kept asking Jesus, what are you going to do? And he's sitting down, he's writing in the sand, and they kept pushing him, and he finally said, the person who does not have any sin, go ahead and cast the first stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, left or went out one by one, beginning at the eldest even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman was standing in the midst. And when Jesus had lifted himself up, and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? And she said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. So he gave her forgiveness. And don't you think probably her conscience was worse than anything? Yeah. So when you're dating, you have to set up clear boundaries. And you make this decision before dating to save sex for marriage. And if you make this decision at your age and before, this sets you up for success. You heard that girl say that she knew she shouldn't and how it was bothering her. When your relationship passes the friendship stage, sit down together and make a commitment together to maintain your purity. Write it down. What happens when you write something down? Does it make it kind of more powerful, more permanent? As I was reading in this book, getting ready for this lesson, he said a couple sat down and wrote it down. They talked about it and wrote it down. And the guy had been sexually active previously, and he had gone to the counselor, and he was just torn all apart. So he made the decision to wait. And when he met this lady and they started dating, this is the process they went through. They made a commitment to maintain it, and he talks about how happy they are now that they have made that, and they waited till they were married. That made their life so much better. So, we kind of laughed about the purity ring at the very first scene. But it kind of ties in with this next one, step 4. And the step 4 is to stay accountable. Can that ring make you stay accountable?
Which one?
The purity ring. It just a plain purity ring.
Oh, okay.
Can it make you stay accountable?
It can't make you.
But it serves as a reminder,
Yeah.
doesn't it? And to stay accountable, the best thing you can do is have a group of same-sex friends that you meet with a couple of times a month. You encourage each other, confess your weakness. And you know, if one of you are kind of forgetting a step in this, the other people in the group could say, hey, remember, if you do this, this is what it's going to cost you. And in this way, you're keeping each other accountable. And the ring is kind of a reminder when you're out. If like she said, she had the ring on. And do you think that ring was serving as a reminder to her that she was doing something she shouldn't?
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're right. But also, I'm saying on this friends, you need to make sure they're friends that are not going to run and blab. It's got to be a good group of friends. You need to choose your friends carefully. So,
Kind of like the group we have here.
kind of like the group we have here.
With
Yeah.
like me and Caitlin and Kelsey and Cece.
Yeah. So, consequences of breaking this commandment, which we've said you're at risk of contracting an STD or becoming pregnant outside of a marriage. You will experience a moment of gratification, and then it'll be followed by intense feelings of guilt, shame, and regret. Does she look like she's shamed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And anorexic.
And anorexic. You will have sacrificed the sense of wholeness and purity that God desires for you to have. God doesn't want you to feel broken and guilty. And you will tarnish the experience of sex as it is intended once you're with your future husband or wife. And if you kind of think about, you know what, this person I'm dating may not be my future husband. I may not be his future wife. I need to save myself for my future husband for sure. And he needs to save himself for his future wife for sure. You think that would help if you thought of it that way?
Yeah. Tell Kelsey about that. It was a story or something you told me about that girl that wrote notes to her future husband.
She did. She wrote notes to her future husband. And I think I read it in here. She wrote notes to her future husband. And the day that she got married, she gave him those notes. And it was really cool. There was, when Kelsey went through a similar type series of lessons, there was a married couple that was doing it, and she had saved herself. He had reclaimed his born again virginity, if for lack of a better term, but she talked about how that hurt her to think that he had been with someone else, even though she loved him and she wanted to marry him, but that it did hurt her to think that her husband had been with someone else. Now, what are the benefits of keeping this commandment? Here goes your curtains, Kyle.
Yes.
The benefits, you will experience a maximum wholeness and healthy sense of self-respect. You will have healthier and more fulfilling dating relationships built on foundations that last. You will enjoy sex inside of marriage the way God intended it to be. And I didn't add this benefit, but you will have honored your future husband by keeping this. Is there help for people who have broken this commandment? Yes. You make a commitment to become a born-again virgin, to save sex until you are married, confess your past mistakes, receive the grace and forgiveness of God, set clear boundaries for physical intimacy before you get involved in another relationship. Look at this diagram. What do you think that diagram means?
The wife is putting God, and then the husband is putting God before them.
Okay, so as they're both seeking God as first, what's happening to them? How are their lines getting closer or further apart?
Well, if they're both going
Towards
towards
God.
God, then their lines are getting closer.
You're right. Their lives are getting closer. Kind of cool to think of it that way. How's it look if only one of them is getting close to God
Then one's just not there.
and they're just not getting closer, are they?
Yeah, my first boyfriend I met when I was a sophomore in high school. The first 6 months, everything was great. After a little while, the topic of sex did come up, but he knew I wouldn't do that. He knew my morals, and he was fine with it. Well, he started cheating on me, I don't know, after probably a year, and I found out a couple of times, and he said he was sorry, and he loved me so much. He's so sorry that he would do that, and I wanted to be the forgiving girlfriend and the sweet girlfriend. I wanted to feel accepted, and I wanted to feel beautiful and loved and special. And that is how I was told I was going to get it, by those guys. We decided to have sex. I remember coming home and just bawling, and because he was my neighbor, so I walked home by myself just bawling, and I remember sitting in my shower and just crying and being like, what did I do? I had a purity ring that I was wearing even during that made me feel awful. That was a huge part of the reason I wasn't going to tell a single person, was because I had my good Christian face on when I went to church, and then I would go home and do something else. About a week after that, it happened again, and then 2 days after everything happened, he broke up with me for a girl he'd already started dating, and I was completely crushed. You can imagine how, I thought that by giving him everything, I would keep him, and actually I lost him right after. The biggest thing that I felt was dirty. I felt so dirty, just like I had been used, and I'd been one of those girls that I'd never wanted to be. I thought I was gonna marry that guy, and now I'm not. I ruined my wedding night. My husband's gonna be sitting there, and if he waited for me and I didn't wait for him, that's a gift that I wanted to give him. And that's something that I wish I could give him, and I wish I could take back to give him. I didn't want to tell God about it. I felt like there was no way back. And I felt like there's no way God's gonna forgive me. There's no way that he's gonna use this. I had a huge breakdown one night. When I went into my room, and I turned off all the lights, and I put on my worship music, and I just broke down for the first time about it. I sat there and was just could not stop crying. I was just uncontrollably crying and just sitting there going, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And it was the first time in a long time that I'd really felt God and really felt his forgiveness.